Shut up and sit down.
Put the bunny back in the box. Or, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button and I'll stop doing this weird hair thing. But for now, I am Simon from Nerd Safari. We're going to take a trip back to 1997, so strap in, buckle up, because we are getting on Con Air.
Buckle up.
Con Air, directed by Simon West.
Thank you, and have a pleasant flight.
Well, clearly not everybody loves this movie. It only got 6 out of 10 on IMDb and only 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. What's the deal? Well, Negative Simon, I guess we cannot argue with the data. But why do people not like this movie? Well, maybe if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, this is one of the movies where Nicolas Cage is the least Nicolas Cage. He plays in this movie a retired Army Ranger from Alabama with a very questionable accent and even more questionable hair.
He's a U.S. Ranger. Highly decorated. Did a little hell raising when he was a kid, but nothing serious.
He's definitely not the crazy Nicolas Cage that you've come to expect in other movies, particularly Face Off that came out in the same month. But in this movie, he is jacked. You can tell that he's been working out like crazy for this movie, and actually, during takes in filming, he would go and pump iron to try to keep that muscle mass on, because he found it so challenging to put on the weight. And if that's not good enough for you, then check out the supporting cast.
See a lot of celebrities among us. I see 11 primetime lives, 3 Regents and Kathy Lees, and a genuine 2020 interviewee.
You've got John Malkovich, who plays the awesome Cyrus the Virus, a cold, calculating serial killer.
Stewardess, what's the in-flight movie today?
You've then got John Cusack, who plays a frustrated government agent who manages to walk a really fine line between being too nerdy and too competent. Of course, Ving Rhames, who is fresh out of playing Marcellus Wallace himself in Pulp Fiction, is awesome in this movie as Diamond Dog. And the amazing Danny Trejo is absolutely chilling as serial rapist Johnny 23. But for me personally, the standout performance in this whole movie has got to be Steve Buscemi, who plays the Hannibal Lecter-esque Garland Green. Hey, am I the only one who through the course of this movie warmed to a character who is a serial killer who admitted wearing a young girl's head as a hat through 3 states? Dude, even for me, that crosses some serious lines. I am out. Now let's talk about music for a second. I'm sure everybody remembers the scene in the movie with Sweet Home Alabama playing and Steve Buscemi's character saying,
"Define irony. Bunch of idiots dancing on a plane to a song made famous by a band that died in a plane crash."
Maybe you've also tried to block out the memory of that Trisha Yearwood song, How Do I Live? Yeah, Negative Simon, that one was a little cheesy. But when I rewatched this movie recently, I was kind of amazed at the synth-heavy orchestral soundtrack that I'd completely forgotten about that really works, and it keeps the movie moving along at a really good clip. So let's talk trivia. Well, first of all, the filming of the movie was much scrappier and messier than you might expect from the finished product. First of all, John Malkovich was really frustrated by the fact that the script seemed to change almost daily. On the other hand, Dave Chappelle was virtually given no script and pretty much ad-libbed all of his lines off the top of his head. You might recall that the final scenes of the movie take place in downtown Las Vegas, and the crew was searching for a place where they could film a giant action sequence. They then heard that the original Sands Casino was just about to be knocked down in 1996, so they jumped at the chance. And where you see the casino being absolutely destroyed, that's genuine. They set up multiple camera angles when the casino was actually demolished. Wait, dude, I think you screwed up. Didn't you say that this movie released in June 1997? Well, Face Off released in June 1997 as well. You can't have two blockbuster Nicolas Cage movies release on the same month. You messed up, boy. Well, that's where you were wrong, Negative Simon. These movies did actually release in the same month. Con Air was filmed in the summer and fall of 1996. Face Off was filmed in early 1997. But the production schedules were so close together that they almost overlapped at one point. And let's not forget that in the summer of 1996, the Nicolas Cage movie The Rock was released. Say what you want about Mr. Cage, but that guy knows how to work hard. There's a lot of talk in this movie about July 14th.
My daddy is coming home on July 14th. My birthday is July 14th. I'm gonna see my daddy for the first time ever on July 14th.
What's the relevant of that day? Well, it's actually known as Bastille Day in France. It's the day when French revolutionaries in Paris stormed the fortress prison known as the Bastille, freed the prisoners, and eventually led to the end of feudalism in France. Now, it should not surprise you, with Colm Meaney playing a starring role in this movie, that we should have some Star Trek references. Of course, he played Chief Miles O'Brien in Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Take a close look at the keys to his beloved Corvette Stingray, and you might just see a Star Trek communicator badge hanging there. In France, they decided not to use the title Con Air because con is slang for dumb people. Instead, they used the title Les Ailes de l'Enfer, which means
On the Wings of Hell.
I kinda like that. You would, dude. You would, that guy. Both Willem Dafoe and Mickey Rourke auditioned for the role of Cyrus the Virus before it was given to John Malkovich. In his audition, Mickey Rourke decided to surprise the director by pulling out a razor-sharp bowie knife halfway through the audition. The director said he was both in equal parts terrified and impressed.
Make a move and the bunny gets it.
Robert Downey Jr., Charlie Sheen, and Matthew Broderick were all also considered for the part of Vince Larkin. Obviously, that went to John Cusack instead. Tim Roth was actually the first choice to play Garland Green in this movie, and ironically, he and Steve Buscemi, who eventually did get the role, had both played together in Reservoir Dogs just a few years earlier. Thankfully, we ended up with the movie that we did, a really fun action-adventure romp with a great A-list cast, even if Nicolas Cage is more flowing hair than crazy eyes.
Welcome to Con Air.
Jailbird 1, you are not cleared for takeoff.
And nobody on this aircraft gives a flying.
So please, put the bunny back in the box. If you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button right there, and we will be back next time. Peace out, my friends.
Shut up and sit down.